Mr. Daniel, he said that they knew what the pay was going to be, yet they signed to take the job.
Yes.
Yes. Do you recall what happened last year when immigration had these
recruitment
exercise
collected so much money,
and the tens of thousands of people who wanted to go and work there?
Yes.
I'm sure they all knew that the pay wasn't going to be very attractive.
Yes.
But they saw it as an avenue. It's an agency where you can go and make a lot of extra money. Most of them, well, I'm sure that some of them were going there for the simple reason that it was an avenue to collect bribe.
Well, the rate of unemployment in the country encourages unemployed graduates to want to exploit any avenue for job. But talking about corruption is something that has been part of us right from time. Let us go back memory lane when Ibrahim Babangida was the military president.
But before Ibrahim Babangida, it wasn't always part of us.
Yeah, no. Corruption was legitimized, so to say, during Babangida's era. And thereafter, everybody seemed to pay lip service to addressing corruption. The first time corruption will be addressed properly is now, when Buhari became the president. Because there is corruption in every aspect of our life. So it is a mindset, like the Prof said. As you are going to any office, you already have a mindset that if I get to this office, I will steal. You see what is happening at the house now? They are all complaining because we are introducing, the present administration has introduced checks. They are trying to block the loopholes now. They are trying to, stop leakages. Because it is not that difficult to tackle corruption. You know why? There's always a budget. And the corruption we are talking about, we are talking of corruption in government places. But there are corruption even in private places. And just like if you are not caught stealing, you are not a thief. There are other aspects of corruption that we don't even know about. So to check corruption, government aspect now, there is a budget. Every ministry has an allocation. So you should be able to monitor it. You should be able to check how this money is spent. But what we had before now, particularly under Jonathan, was a carefree attitude. I don't have any evidence to label Jonathan as a corrupt leader, but I have more than enough to show that he encouraged corruption. So if he deliberately encouraged corruption, that means he was corrupt. People see him, whenever anything happens, they just say, look, forget it. We've heard of cases of millions of dollars being stolen, being embezzled, nothing happens. The ministries were looking up to the president. Then, the EFCC, I'm talking about EFCC very soon will be overwhelmed. We need to check the root of corruption and tackle corruption from that angle instead of prosecuting. This man has already committed the offense before you go to arrest. And I want to quickly divert a little bit. EFCC, I have said it before, I want to say it again, should investigate before they arrest. Arresting before investigating, you are encouraging unwholesome compromise. So you should investigate. If you go to the bank, you can check the account of the person. You can carry out investigation, get enough evidence, then when you arrest, you confront with the concrete evidence you have. And then when you investigate, I know that they have legal sections. The legal advisors are supposed to look at your investigation activities and reports and give opinion or recommendation whether there is a prima facie case before you go to court. But I don't know why most of the time they investigate on the page of newspaper and media and they go to court, a jamboree show, and before you know what, the case is thrown out. EFCC is not the only agency fighting corruption. The police is there, the ICPC is there, but there is duplicity. Police, ICPC, civil defense, duplicity. I recommend that EFCC and ICPC should be merged. Then the police should be encouraged to do their job. The police are poorly paid, but like Prof said, you signed that you will receive that salary. But then, let me go to the recent, right now, petroleum PMS, that is petrol, is selling for 87 naira. Before now, shortly after Buhari came in, for whatever reason, the price of petroleum went high to about 100 naira, 110. So that means there will be the reduction in the price is supposed to affect positively, impact on the economy positively. Now, if you do the same thing to every other aspect of our economy, where your money, no matter how little, will be valuable to you. If you see the way the dollar naira were going high, naira, the exchange rate was going very high, but right now it is gradually coming down. Before Buhari came in, naira to dollar was about 150 naira to a dollar.
No, more than that.
About 160.
No,
It was during the election, shortly before he was sworn in, that the dollar started climbing. So now, and then various reasons were given, corruption.
Yeah.
Now, they seem to have found their bearings. They are gradually taking care of that problem. What I'm trying to say is that when you have a little, no matter the amount you have, if the economy is okay, you'll be able to buy things. You'll be satisfied with what you have, what you earn. So I want to conclude by saying that the president should continue what he's doing, but he should extend the fight against corruption to blockages. You should block leakages, block the avenue for corruption. Every ministry has an allocation. They should be able to account for their money. If you go defend your allocation, you are giving the money, you are working within the budget principle. And if you are working within the budget, you should be able to explain. Every money has a purpose. If you have excess, there will be no room for excess funds because you have projects. And based on the project you have, you come to defend the money you need to run your project. So I don't know why it was easy to divert all those funds from the project against which they have collected money.
Okay, let me talk on this budget.
1 second, Prof, before you come
okay.
in. Mr. Daniels, he talked about when corruption was legitimized. That's in the 80s. That's about 85 or there, from 85. Now, I was going to bring in the issue of institutions as against the individuals. He also pointed out the question of corruption in government establishment and corruption in the private sector. That goes to say that if someone leaves the private sector and goes into the government sector, regardless of the structure in that government sector, because he's used to corrupt practices in the private sector, he'll just take that in there.
Yeah.
So,
and vice versa.
And vice versa. So how do you now stop that before it even happens? So that you don't get to the point and say, is that government? Is that government? Because at the end of the day, who makes the government?
Okay. We all made the government, to answer that question. In terms of institution building, that is what is wrong with the ICPC and CPC. If you realize when it was established, the fourth chairman, we fear him.
Yes,
that is individual, not an institution.
That is Akin-Alabi.
Yeah.
Now let's say the NAFDAC. You can say NAFDAC is a built institution. It's not after the late Akin-Alabi they were going after, but it's after Nuhu Ribadu. Here his name that time, you begin to run EFCC. What efforts he has made that time?
That's
EFCC. You could have been able to sustain people to fear. Now let's come down now. We see Buhari. We call him Babagoslo. And since he's been there, what has he done? Not much. But that name is enough. Did he actually generate this power supply when he got there a couple of months ago? But some areas now are recording steady power supply. I was away for about 2 months. And now you are called over there, oh, since you left, there's no power, outrage in their place. Now this gas, something we are talking about too. Some refineries are now working. Did you go there? Did you even instruct anybody there? I would say that Nigerians are the actors of their own fortune. because we are the one that actually practice all this. We allow the leaders to do what they are supposed to do. I mean, what they are doing against us. So building an institution means that we have to establish. It's not an individual that we are doing to, but when NAFDAC tried to tell everybody, they know that, oh, if I drink this water, I'm going to die, I'm going to do this. It's got to their own senses, to their brain, that this is what should be done. The same thing we should fight this corruption. It's an individual thing. I was coming from the airport just 2 days ago, and the lady who was supposed to actually see if I have Ebola or not was asking me, Daddy, what did you bring for me?